Hey there everybody, so I actually recorded this intro already, but the camera that I was using went dead, so I had to switch. Well, no, it didn't go dead. The card was full, so I'm having to reshoot this now. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing The Hobbit, and then I will kind of give you my thoughts on it, and after I kind of go along the main storyline. So if you haven't read The Hobbit, or if you have read The Hobbit and you want to just hear the story from my perspective, then you can do that, or I will provide like a little somewhere around here some words that tell you guys where to skip if you want to go ahead and get my actual thoughts on it instead of hearing the story. And yeah, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. So I just finished The Hobbit the other day. I got 20 bucks for it, for reading it. We get money for reading books, which is really awesome because, you know, it gives us an incentive to read. I like to read anyway, but it definitely, you know, helps anyway, just to, you know, give us even more of an incentive to read. And yeah, so basically the book is about a hobbit named Bilbo Baggins. And Bilbo Baggins is a very respectable creature. He's a very respectable hobbit. Of course, that's the whole name of the book right here, The Hobbit. And so he doesn't really like adventures. He actually hates adventures because I think maybe he had an experience one time with an adventure that I don't think he liked very much. And so he just doesn't like him at all. Anyway, one day, he's at his house, and a wizard comes by, Gandalf, and a lot of people have heard of him. He feels like he knows him and everything, and he's followed by several, and I mean like 13, I believe it is, 12 or 13 dwarves, and one of those is Thorin Oakenshield. I can't say his name. He has a very cool name though, but kind of hard to pronounce and kind of hard to say because it's not a usual thing. I don't usually say oak and shield together, even though, I mean, it's not a very complicated word or anything. But yeah, I don't know why I keep holding up the book. We're going to put that down now. But yeah, so they all come and they start talking. He's like confused the entire time. He doesn't even know why they're there. I mean, some people just kind of randomly show up. Pretty much, I guess, basically, because he didn't, I don't think he knew they were coming. Correct me if I'm wrong if you've read it. I know that some of my friends have, like Brick Habitat Productions, he has read the book, and so he will know, I guess, if he actually remembers that section. I know that it's been a really long spread of time of me reading this book, because part of the time I lost my page and all types of things ended up happening, and I keep looking at myself in the viewfinder. Sorry for that. Yeah, so what was I doing? Oh yeah, and it actually says on this book, soon to be a major motion picture, and it actually already is by now. There's actually a couple of the movies, and some people don't like the movie. I've never watched it before. I don't really think we're gonna watch it because I think it has some bad parts in it or something. Oh yeah, so continuing on with the story, Bilbo ends up getting wound up in the adventure. And so he was able to, I mean, he ended up going on the adventure, and I think maybe he left his handkerchiefs or something, or only brought a few. I don't know why I'm remembering like the little details here, but I am. So they go on the adventure. It takes them a really long time. They run into a lot of different dangers, like I can't remember what they're called. Oh, how come I can't remember what they're called? Why can I not remember? A goblin. Yeah, I didn't even have to look in the book. I just remembered while I was searching. So a goblin, they run into goblins, they run into this water that makes one of the characters, that starts with a B, but I can't remember his name right now, fall asleep for a while. He actually likes sleeping. Bilbo can continually, throughout the entire story, wishes that he was back home, but of course in the end he actually is happy with everything and is glad that he went on the adventure. So they finally get there after a bunch of different things. They get captured a couple of times, and of course this isn't like a detailed review or anything. This is like a broad review of just what I can remember. And so he also gets captured by wolves. They almost get caught on fire. There is so many things that happen on their adventure there. It's actually a really long section, and it can get quite boring at sections, I have to admit, because it's just like the same thing of them walking and singing, and the author has a lot of singing parts of the dwarves and the elves. They run into some elves along the way. Anyway, they finally make it there, and they're greeted pretty warmly by the people of the lake town. I think that's maybe even what the town was called. I can't remember, but it's some sort of lake town, and they're greeted very warmly by, how long have we been? Okay. And they're greeted very warmly by the people, and except for the king of the place, or the mayor, or the ruler. I think it was the mayor, possibly, or maybe even an emperor, something like that. And so they get treated very well. Thorin is the king, so he gets treated like a king, of course. I mean, you would if you were a king. And one guy's not very happy. They go on their way eventually after getting rested up and everything. Oh, and along the way, I forgot to tell you about, along the way, Bilbo gets his ring, and of course, and so he finds it, and there is this guy who keeps saying Precious. I can't remember his name at the moment. Why can I can't remember characters' names right when I need them. And so he gets the ring. He gets to turn invisible. It's pretty cool, honestly. And he escapes from, I can't remember his name. But yeah, he escapes from him, whoever he is. He escapes from the trolls that are there guarding, and he sneaks up on one of the dwarves, and they all thought he was dead, I think, because they left him behind during the battle. Well, I don't know if it was a battle, but during the attack that the goblins made on him after they killed their boss and everything. So, well, the wizard did that, and the wizard is Gandalf, so he killed off him, and so they're pretty upset, and that actually leads into the final battle eventually. And I'm losing my voice right now because I'm sick. I got sick again. If you remember, I think that I told you guys, or maybe it was my other audience, which is also some of you guys from the LNC Bros, that I got sick, and now I'm sick again because I think the other one was like some sort of food sickness, and this is the actual sickness that everybody's been getting in our family. Let's straighten up the camera a little bit, but yeah, no, I actually liked it the other way. There we go. So yeah, that's very interesting that I'm sick again. I don't like it because I can't talk very much, and I was losing my voice yesterday when I was vlogging. I actually did do a vlog, so you guys are going to see that soon. Super happy about that. Cannot wait to show you guys. It's pretty awesome, I think, and I'm super excited about that. And I'm super excited to, of course, upload again because, I mean, it's always fun. Now, what was that saying again? Oh yeah, so he has the ring now. He uses it in several occasions, saving them over and over again, and they're very appreciative, of course, which, I mean, it gets a little bit strange when, in the end, they're not very appreciative. Oh, well, near the end, not in the end. In the end, of course, they are, but near the end, they stop being appreciative of him because he does something. But anyway, I'm not gonna spoil my own review. What am I doing? And just bear with me, guys. Sorry, my voice is starting to give out because of all this talking. Because I've been talking for 8 minutes straight. 8 minutes and some seconds, actually. I've got to remember the rest of the story. Anyway, let's go ahead and get back to where they are at the village. So they decide to go out. They go to the mountain where the dragon Smaug is guarding their treasure. He took their treasure like a long time ago. He killed off a lot of people, a lot of the dwarves. The dwarves had this huge, magnificent kingdom, and it got taken from them. And now the whole mission has to do with them trying to take it back from Smaug. And Smaug, of course, doesn't want to give them the treasure back. He's a dragon. I mean, he's powerful. Bilbo sneaks in, and they all sneak in through a tunnel, through a door that they find. They ended up finding a key, I believe it was, that the wizard gave them near the beginning, that he gave Thorin Oakenshield, I think it was. And he uses the key, they open the door, they go inside. Bilbo sneaks in a couple of times. He steals like a cup at one point, I believe, and the dragon knows. The dragon ends up finding that what Bilbo did, and Bilbo comes back, and the dragon starts talking to him. They have this long, kind of scary conversation. I honestly felt very scared for Bilbo during that moment. And Bilbo ends up getting singed by the fire as the dragon gets mad at him. The dragon gets so upset that it rams into the mountain with some boulders to destroy the gateway. So I guess like that they can't get in or out, and maybe to just block up the entrance, I guess. And they're kind of stuck in there, so they go in, and they start trying to get back the treasure. Meanwhile, wait, not yet. So they start getting back the treasure. They start exploring. The dragon's not there because he left to go attack the city, because through Bilbo, he learned that they went across the water, and so he thinks that the lake men have something to do with it. So he goes to attack them for what he thinks is treachery, even though they didn't really. I mean, I guess they technically did help him, actually, because yeah. So I guess they are to blame if you were the villain, you know. So, so what was I saying? So they get out finally. They find a way out because they kind of gathered their wits again after getting all that gold. I mean, they were super happy, so they kind of got distracted for a while on getting the gold. And at this time, Bilbo also has the Arkenstone, which is something that belongs to Thorin Oakenshield. but Thorin no longer has it. But I mean, Thorin can't find it, and he wants to find it. And he says, whoever, wait, am I getting ahead of myself? Oh yeah, so they get out of the place. Yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself. So they get out of the place and they go to a watchtower. It takes them a while to get there. They haven't eaten in a while. And sorry if I'm skipping ahead a little bit. I'm trying my best to remember, but again, it's a long stretch of time that I read this, months actually, of reading. I can read pretty fast, but I kind of got off of reading it for a while because I lost my place, and then we stopped doing it for school. We were doing it for school at first, but then we stopped, and so I kind of didn't read it as much. But then all of a sudden I decided to read it a lot more. I keep forgetting places. They also get captured another time just before they get to the town, and they escape in the wine barrels, and they are able to escape down the river, and they get pretty bad hurt, but then they go to the lake man, and that's how they get to the lake man. So I just caught you up on that. Sorry about that. I'm having a hard time recollecting because it's such a long period of time once again. Oh yeah, so while they're once they get there, it kind of switches the story to the dragon, and the dragon actually gets killed. So he's attacking the town. He's just completely obliterating them. They try and fight back, but they can't. They can't do anything. But a bird comes to this one guy, and again, I can't remember his name, but he was a great character. I just remembered it today. I was talking to my friend, Brick Habitat. We're friends, so we talk a pretty good bit. And I was telling him, he asked me about him, and I remembered who the character was, but now I can't remember who the character was. Which is really strange. For some reason, I'm having a hard time remembering these characters. And I'm remembering all types of things that I've already forgot during the story, like Bjorn, and he's like a bear guy, and he ends up being in the story later on. And yeah, you really need to read the book. Don't listen to anything I'm saying. Because I forget a lot of things in the book, because it's, again, I keep saying that it's a long period of time, but it was. And so it's very hard to remember everything that happened during the story. But again, what was I saying? This is what happens when you don't have a script or anything, or any idea what you're doing. I can't stop forgetting. Yeah, I don't, what am I doing? I can't remember for some reason. Oh yeah, so the dragon gets killed by the one guy. He shoots his best arrow, never failed him, never lost it, been passed from generations. A bird tells him about the weak point because the birds can talk and he can understand because he's like he's like related to some people or something. And he shoots the dragon, he kills the dragon, he gets credit for it, the people are happy. The king, of course, is not happy. He ends up dying in the end of the book, it says. That he dies because he got some sort of cold or something. He went out, he got lost, he got some dragon fever or something, I don't remember. And yeah, my throat's really bothering me right now. So I want to hurry up and get to the end of the story. So the people go up to the place, and the birds tell one of the old birds tells the people who is coming. The Thorin tells that they're coming, the citizens are coming because they remember the tales of the treasure. They have a lot of tales and songs and stories, and they have been passed down, and they've been a little bit mixed up, and they've been a little bit changed over time, because that sometimes happens when you don't have written stories. If you just have passed down stories, then sometimes it will change. Of course, if it's written, then it won't. And so they're going up there. Thorin and all of his dwarves and Bilbo build a wall to block the place so that they can't get the treasure. And they talk for a while. Thorin starts being really greedy, which this is the part that I really didn't like. I liked the part where he was greedy because I felt like it was a good way to continue the story. I'm fine with that. I didn't like that he was greedy, but I liked how it kind of shaped his character a little bit. But then he does that for a while. He refuses to make any deals because he wants all of the treasure. He won't give them any of it, even though they deserve some for killing the dragon, and they need help because the dragon has destroyed their city and they need money, to fix it. Because, they won't survive through the winter if they don't have the money. And I just felt like Thorin was a little bit mean and stuff, which I'm perfectly fine with that. I don't like that he did that, but again, I think it very well suited the story. And I was actually very surprised when the dragon was killed off well, it wasn't really early, but it wasn't toward the end. You expect that to be the final battle. They're going against the dragon. Maybe the dragon has men or something, like maybe he works with the goblins and the wolves or something like that. And that would be really cool, I think. But I actually like this story, of course, better because it's actually the original. And I think that it was a really good story. Oh, I'm starting to get hungry. We're about to eat dinner. So what else was I going to say about this? They had this huge... no. So the Thorin gets the birds to call for men that he knows, for some of his relatives, I think. And they end up getting here, and they go to battle. they're about to go to battle with the other men, when all of a sudden the wizard comes. And first I forgot that Bilbo also gave the Arkenstone that I told you about earlier to the other side, because he doesn't want the war to happen, and he's hoping that they will be able to trade it for some treasure and peace and all of that and everything. But that doesn't end up working out because the wizard's there again, by the way. He left during the story. And so the wizard ends up telling them of the danger that's coming. From earlier, the goblins are coming now, and they're about to attack them in huge numbers. And they take him by surprise. Even the wizard doesn't see it coming. Gandalf doesn't even see the surprise attack coming. He knew that they were coming, but he didn't see the large numbers or it being so sudden. And the men are already there, of course, from the other side. So they have a pretty good bit of numbers, but they're losing. I mean, at first they're winning, then they start losing really badly. They had a plan, but then the plan started failing because they got up on the mountains. Sorry, that's my brother screaming in the background. Yeah, so they had this huge battle. Bilbo gets knocked out during the battle. He put on his ring, so he's invisible now. And so he doesn't really participate in the battle. He sees eagles, and he points up toward the sky. And then he gets knocked out by because he kept screaming, eagles, 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 and so he gave himself away. And he gets knocked out, he wakes back up, and Thorin is now dying. Killy and Philly, I think, are already dead. And Thorin apologizes for how mean he was to Bilbo, because he was mad at Bilbo for stealing. And in the end, they go back home. He had this great adventure. Everything was really awesome. And yeah, I just really like the story. Yeah, he goes back home. He has some treasure now, but he doesn't take as much treasure as he was promised, because he realizes that it wasn't about the treasure, that, that wasn't important to him anymore, even though that is really the reason that he did it in the first place, anyway. And yeah, so that's how the story goes. I really liked the book. I think that it did some great things. One thing, though, in the review, I have to say that the author is not that great, at least not compared to other books at making me feel in the story. Like, say Narnia, and I know this is going to be like a little bit of like, oh wow, you're going to say this again in the other video. Yes, I probably will. I probably shouldn't even say this right now, but C.S. Lewis could really bring you into the story. I felt like I was there. There was this one place that they went, and it was the world between worlds, and I felt like I was in the world between worlds because of the way he described it. I'll go probably in more detail when I do my Narnia versus the Hobbit book, and then I'll probably do that if we read the other one, the Lord of the Rings book. I'll probably compare them because they're probably even more comparable, but this is definitely still comparable, I think. And so in the end, I definitely really liked the book. I think that the author did a great job at storytelling, but he wasn't very good with the characters, and the characters just weren't the best. Like, sorry about all the screaming. I think our brother's upset because of something. Yeah, but I think that the author did a great job with the story, but not with the characters and not with the, immersing you in the story. He wasn't very good at describing the place and making me feel like I was actually there. So those are my really only complaints, but, overall, it was definitely a great story, and yeah. So tell me what you guys thought about The Hobbit if you've read it. I know some of you have, but I don't know how many or anything like that. And yeah, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. So yeah, guys. So thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, tell me in the comments, and I will do more sort of book reviews as I read books. Yeah, keep me in prayer, guys. I hope I get better soon. I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.